it's suffering from species alienation. It's just being flabbergasted to share the same DNA as these other primates I keep interacting with. I almost interfered with parents and two sons. One son was probably heavier than me, but we insulted his brother's intelligence, in front of the parents more than once, just because, spilled a little bit of the pop opening it. But it's so hurtful and destructive of that younger son, and the parents they just don't do anything. I just almost said, I would have gotten up and asked that kid, I said, do you want me to help you with your bullies? And maybe the parents would have said, beat that guy up. Would have been interesting what would have happened after that. And, but that's not okay. There's so many things that's not okay. It's not okay that more than once, parents that film their kids do other things with kids, like pull a baby in the pool, and they go right for me, and I have to excuse me before they bump into me, because being aware of their surroundings, or just I'm in a part of the pool where kids could come into the pool much further from me, but that's the straight line right beside me. Sploosh. Like there's no teachings of being considerate of others. So when I say there's, it's a pool full of rednecks, right? And like it's not like that if you go to a public bath in Japan or Korea. You don't see this level of redneckism. And like just a cluelessness, right? And a proud cluelessness, because that's the norm. That's also like this, right? So proud to fit into the norm. I'm trying to have conversations with people that have known me for all my life, and it's just, man, just try to promote a conversation. And if any of my relatives, before they realize they die, they want me to come visit, are you nuts? Are you nuts that I would invest in such resources to cross the country for there's absolutely zero reason other than to punish me to ask me to do this, and I'm not the one that deserves to be punished. So wake up, people. You're not dead yet. You might want to make an effort to have, a conversation as if you haven't been avoiding the maturation process for 8 decades. What else? There's so many bad behaviors I see in the pool. It's really horrible. And the parents witness it, and it's just not referencing the outside world. And then it always makes me think of how great I was as a summer day camp supervisor, and how the success I can have with kids, the structure, the life skills, the appreciation from the kids and the parents, and that I'm not in these roles still. Why am I not in these roles? I see programs every freaking summer that need my skill sets, and nobody does it. I'm so far from the norm that people just assume I'm a bad guy in the weird ways, and they start believing it, and it's just, you can't reach them after that. And that's people that should know better, and they just don't. They just it's their way of not feeling guilty at all for being in the norm. And like they'll talk about a lot of people doing things, they don't realize that's the norm you're talking about, and that's how you act too. They don't get it. So let me ask you this, because if you want to challenge me as the doctor of humanics who's a specialist in the true state of the human condition, let me ask you this. When it comes to the concept of development, okay, psychological development, let's say, to become an Homo sapien, related to this software, and to be able to develop the potential at an average scale, okay? And the potential at an average scale is me, by the way. And so if people say, Martin, you're a genius compared to other people, you intimidate them. No, I worked really hard to be an average Homo sapien, and I barely succeeded. You're not even close. The norm, the 100% of you. And then you vary so close in not being close to an average Homo sapien. Where is that elusive Homo sapien? Where have all the sapiens, creatures, primates gone? That's my song. And I'm just an average Joe, and yet I'm so different than the norm, who vary in their underdevelopment. The maturation process of an Homo sapien, of an adult man or woman Homo sapien, is so below what it should be, but also at huge differences. Like you'll see people sometimes in super important positions, and they haven't undergone more maturation process than the mailman delivering the mail, for 5 years or something like that, until they move on to something else because that's a smart thing to do for your development. And people can't tell the difference because they don't even know what an Homo sapien really would act like. So let me ask you this. If you don't want to believe in my theory and what it says, or the state of the human condition, then how come we couldn't, if we did research, really find other species where if we evaluate for their potential development, what they should be able to do and succeed at for what their species is, living in these environmental factors, and also with them having the ability to learn, that means add things, every generation. How come that there isn't any other species with all these variations of underdevelopment like we have? Unless you evaluate for, like chimpanzees that are in habitats or something where we screwed it up. No, I mean like really study species objectively and get yourself out of the point of reference to compare yourself to them. And that's not the study. The study is evaluate them as who they should be. Don't put yourself in it because don't judge their intelligence by yours because you're not even accurate on what yours is. But go study this and then you'll see, holy moly, we have huge variations of underdevelopment. How do we explain that if not Martin's theory on HSD?